Zoe, the Tipsy Psychic, and today we're going to talk about a cusp and the love life of this cusp. And it's the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius. So this is an overall love life video. I'll go into compatibilities with specific signs in another video. So this cusp is so difficult to pin down. Capricorn and Aquarius are like complete opposites. Capricorn is so grounded and so responsible, and Aquarius is spontaneous and likes adventure. You often go into relationships feeling less attached, feeling very detached and kind of iffy about it, but then you see where it's going and the person kind of warms up to you and you warm up to them and things start working out and seem more possible. And then you decide it's worth the risk. You're very good at going with the flow and kind of seeing where the relationship goes, but you can often kind of pull away before you really get the chance to know someone. If you feel like things are getting way too serious too fast, you can kind of drift off and cut things off before they get more serious. So you have this weird ability to kind of detach from your feelings, but you definitely need to work on giving things a chance. Although you're very independent-minded in your relationships, you're really good at being open to what other people bring in. Like, you might be stubborn, you might like things your way, but it's like when it comes to your loved ones' beliefs, you respect them. You respect their values anyway. Doesn't necessarily mean you always abide by them, but you're open to them. You can be pretty unpredictable when it comes to your commitments to people. You might have a plan for your heart and you might have a good idea of where you want your relationship to go and what you want your love life to look like, but it's really up to you to share that. And remember that just because you feel it and you have a connection with someone doesn't mean that they're on the same page. You don't like being in charge, usually. You don't like having to wear the pants, but you often find yourself in relationships where you have to make the decisions, where you have to make the choices, and you have to kind of take a leadership position. Your loved ones can usually count on you as long as you don't feel pressured or kind of over-influenced into doing something. You can't be rushed. The minute you start feeling trapped, you pull away. You're very creative when it comes to dating, and you don't necessarily like consistency. You need someone spontaneous who will go on adventures with you, a life partner. And you need someone who will do things your way, who doesn't just believe in your beliefs, but who will actually do things the way you do them. Actions speak louder than words to you. Communication will be your downfall. You definitely need to work on communicating and making sure that the other person is on the same page. You need to be able to check in with your partner. Don't forget about their needs. You have a lot of pride, you're very self-assured, and sometimes when you're still learning and still growing, you can have quite the ego. You can be single for a very, very long time. Like, you don't mind it because you're so put together. Obviously, you want love, but at the same time, you're cool with just kind of waiting till you find the one. You don't just throw around your commitments. When you commit to something or someone, you try to keep it. You need to really be able to check in with your own feelings, and sometimes finding a person who really makes you think about how you're feeling and helps you check in with yourself is the right person to be with. For you, passion and love might come later in a relationship. You need someone who's your best friend. It's very important, especially in the beginning, to be able to keep things fun and interesting and light. You need to try new things and try new foods and travel and go on adventures and be entertained together. So there are a lot of signs that are very empathic, and they get lost in relationships very easily. They lose their sense of identity and sometimes can get very absorbed. You are not like that. You are so independent. You remain an individual. You remain authentic, and you're the least likely sign to be codependent on someone you're in love with. However, the hard part is that you attract people who are codependent often, or people who are very emotional and chameleons, and they are people who will get very attached to you. So you always have to deal with being kind of the one that's more sane when it comes to those people. Remind yourself to keep a distance and not commit to too much that you can't handle. Make sure the person you're dating gives you alone time. The people you attract can be quite clingy. Don't get sucked into someone else's problems. It's not your problem. Like, it's not your deal. Be with someone who's your equal. You have a very practical side as well, and a lot of people, especially when you're dating, really like that. They feel more grounded around you, even though you're kind of eccentric and out there. You like feeling like there's a home you can go back to. You need to be cozy with someone. You love to cuddle. You appreciate hard workers. You don't mind dating someone with a 9-to-5 job, as long as you don't necessarily have to do all that. You don't like drama. You don't like games. You're very straightforward, and you don't like people who are passive aggressive and who kind of don't say what's on their mind. You just want to figure things out, deal with it, and move forward. Your dates love your sense of humor. That is definitely a secret weapon of yours. You have a lot of fantasies about love. I mean, deep down, you really do care. And you have dreams. You're a dreamer. And you don't necessarily share those dreams with people, so sometimes they don't know how you feel or where you stand. Just because you think something is hilarious doesn't mean your partner will. So be careful what you choose to share. Work on sharing the right thing and being more emotionally close. You get over breakups a lot more easily than most signs. You need variety in your relationship. You don't just settle down right away. You know, you need to keep things interesting. Your love life can be kind of like a roller coaster ride. It's never straightforward, never simple. Usually your love life is very up and down, and it's something you just have to get used to. Sometimes it can be so burdensome. You choose your career over your love life. You can be a player. When you're dating, you date many people before you find the right person. That's what you are. You are not afraid to go with casual. I see you being someone who's very free, you know. You're grounded in the sense where you're pragmatic and you're logic, but at the same time you have this need for freedom and for exploration. So you won't commit to anyone until you're really sure. In the meantime, you might date openly. I feel like you're very conflicted when it comes to love, but at the same time, other parts of your life are pretty certain, pretty straightforward. You can see the big picture, you're pragmatic, and you have a good goal. But when it comes to love, things get rocky. You don't mind change. I mean, you're a rebel at heart. But when it comes to doing things, they have to be done your way. You're pretty good at telling when something's not working, like a relationship, and you're pretty good at taking a step back and moving on, which means that you can be quite the heartbreaker. You like taking care of yourself, so you're not necessarily a domestic family person. You often date people who are way younger than you or way older than you, but you aren't usually drawn to people of the same age. You need to date someone who is wild and isn't afraid to shake things up. You don't necessarily do that yourself, but you like to hang around people who do, and people sense your sense of freedom. Don't let others tell you how your love life should be, or who you should pick, or what you should do with your heart. Listen to you. Have your own authentic story. Honestly, you don't fit in. You're not like everyone else, and you have to find someone who accepts that about you and who's just like you, an outcast. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below, and subscribe to my channel. Bye!